But here we go. A lot to talk about. I'm really excited to get into it. And so, to start off with, we had a new producer's letter from David Georgeson, the director of development. They went on a press tour recently. They covered New York, LA, San Francisco. They had folks outside the dev team playing Landmark and giving some feedback on it. All the feedback on the tools was great. Everybody liked it. And we saw the tools in action during their live stream last week. And I know you guys have checked out some of the tools for Landmark. Mobius, what do you think?
Um, yeah, they're pretty good. No, I'm sorry. Pretty new to this, so I got to get my thoughts and focus. I didn't realize you were going to pick me first, but
Surprise!
uh, yeah, yeah, the tools looked like they were pretty good. I mean, from what we saw so far, I think it's going to be a pretty powerful feature, and hopefully it'll go on to make help. I'm sorry, help a lot of people make a lot of interesting structures in the world.
They really can. And we've seen some good time lapse videos showing what can be created. And Madrona, I know you've been following Reddit a lot.
Hmm.
What are people there saying just about the tools of putting together things in Landmark?
They have nothing but nice things to say. There's literally been nothing like this before ever. Neverwinter barely touched the tip of the iceberg of dungeon making, and this is giving you an entire world. Uh, Literally nothing but great things about it.
I agree. And it looks really, really easy.
Yep.
Um, and Chip, have you had time to check out any of the videos of people putting things together? And if so, what do you think?
Just a little bit, but I like the fact that people are using their imagination. Get a little creative with this. They're giving you the tools, make it work, make something where people are like, How are you doing this?" That's some promising stuff.
Yep.
I agree. And they have a lot of instances where they say, oh my gosh, how are you doing that? It is an amazingly powerful tool set. So if you have not checked out those videos, make sure that you go to the EverQuest Next Landmark site or YouTube page and check it out. They've got some amazing, amazing structures being put together between stairs and massive towers that you can flip over once you've built it horizontally against the ground to an amazing, amazing, big, big robot. It was awesome. So don't miss it. Um, Another cool piece of news that David covered, founder packs are now on sale. The most expensive and one with the most goodies is the Trailblazer pack. That one is $100. And he said he was surprised. That seems to be their best selling pack, and that folks are really, really into the game enough to pay $100, not even out the door yet, to be able to get more goodies and get into the game in alpha. Um, so that really does speak to the enthusiasm and excitement of the community. How are
Yep.
you guys feeling? Are you as excited? How about you, Vadrana?
I actually was not good with the idea at first, but they came on to Reddit and backed up what they thought they felt was the Founders Pack, what it was meant to be for. And the way that Smedley described it was that the Trailblazer is for people that want to help make this game better. It's not for people that want a finished product. It's for people that want to give input, that want to bug test. That's not me. So I'm going to be getting the little baby package, and I'll jump in after all the alpha bugs have been ironed out. And they handled it really well, getting people on the side of the Trailblazer package, and I actually support it now too.
Very cool. Well, that's a good point. Now, I ended up with the Trailblazer package because I want to see the bugs. I think it's fun. um, but as far as testing in alpha goes, what do y'all think we can expect? What do you think, Mobius?
Um, I suspect we'll probably run into a few bugs. Hopefully, they'll get those fleshed out as quickly as possible, and hopefully that whoever finds out about these bugs reports it to them so they can get fixed as soon as possible. But other than that, I think it's a great system. I mean, it's having the player base come in and help test out the bugs, we might find stuff that the developers would never have thought to find out or to look at some things. Because I mean, you got more people you got looking at it, testing it out, the more bugs you're going to find out and be able to squash before putting out a finished product.
Very, very true. And I'm hoping we find most of them before the official launch. Fingers
Yes.
crossed.
That would be nice.
Yes. Another neat thing David mentioned was that they have some new lore coming out soon. I believe he said it was Mage of the Tear Doll, which is follow-up to the story series, so be looking for that. And they'll have a new dev diary coming soon this month regarding building, so something to look forward to. And I know so many of us have been following every little thing they've put out about this game, so I'm excited to hear more. We did get to hear a lot more on the 19th regarding their response to our response on holidays. So let's watch that video and see what the devs responded in their roundtable response number 14 on holidays.
Hi, my name's Omi Dariani. I'm the Senior Brand Manager for the EverQuest franchise. Welcome to the Roundtable. With me today is lead game designer and giant, Darren McPherson.
Hello.
And we're talking about in-game holidays. And I think the right place to start on in-game holidays is, why do we have in-game holidays?
In-game holidays are a great chance for people to get together with their friends, to participate in special activities, to get special items, to have cake.
Yeah. And because cake is delicious, right?
It's amazing.
But I mean, to me, one of the main things is that if we're trying to build a world that feels real, we need to have holidays because the real world is filled with holidays. People love holidays.
In-game holidays typically coincide with the seasons of the real world. We will definitely have our winter holiday. Winter holidays will be in wintertime and summer holidays will be in summertime, so that people get a sense of continuity.
Yeah, and one of the things that people were very adamant about is please don't just literally put real holidays into the game. Don't have the 4th of July in EverQuest. Is that something we're planning on doing?
Yeah, I think what we saw in the poll responses was that there was people who wanted lore-based only, and there are people who wanted to have the holidays in the game coincide with the holidays outside the game. And I think we're going to satisfy both of those groups. We're going to have our own lore-based holidays that will coincide with, frequently, out-of-game holidays. So we'll have something close to Frostfell from EverQuest 2 in the winter. We may have a summer celebration in the summertime that will be our own lore.
Yeah, and I mean, the EverQuest franchise is no stranger to having its own holidays, right? There's the Heroes Festival, for example, which coincides with the launch of EverQuest 2, but that's not a real-world holiday.
Right.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So, I mean, I guess one of the things that I thought was the most interesting is people on the forums were talking a lot about how holidays could interact with our AI.
Right, we have such a great procedural AI system, and we definitely want our AI that has this expanded knowledge of what's happening in the world to interact with these things in a procedural manner so that we don't have to set things up. We can merely say, okay, it's holiday time, and let the AI begin to participate in that.
Yeah. So our AI, like our NPCs are actually aware that it's Frostfell and react to it.
Right.
And that's pretty cool. I don't think we've seen that anywhere else.
So our holidays will be different. They'll feel different.
And this roundtable, I think, felt a little different too. I mean, one of the things we noticed immediately on the forums was people creating their own holidays or saying how a holiday would work in EverQuest Next. One guy, Rumbleforge, actually went so far as to create his own lore, like a whole story about his holiday.
Right, and we as designers do that same thing. We'll pick an event that happens, whether it's in-game lore or something that we in the out of side of world we want to mirror because it's a nice seasonal holiday, and we write lore around it. We try to figure out what the events are, and so yeah, it's a great thing that people can participate in. It'd be really good to get that feedback from players. We can maybe integrate that stuff into the game.
Cool. So, I mean, I think the best thing you guys can do is tell us how you think the holidays and the AI could interact, what sorts of holidays you're interested in seeing in EverQuest next, because we're still very much in the design process for this stuff.
Right.
We don't necessarily have to just stick to all the EQ2 holidays. We can make up our own.
Definitely.
So thank you guys very much for your time. We appreciate it as always, and we'll see you next time on the Roundtable.
Thank you.
All right, so that was the latest roundtable response on holidays. I think they pose a really interesting question in asking the community how we think the AI could interact and acknowledge that there are holidays happening. I'd never really heard of that before, aside from that specific zone that has the characters all set up, the NPCs
I think we
ready
lost
to
sound
talk to.
again.
Do what?
Yeah.
Oh. I am. Okay. Can we hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think everybody else could hear me though, so woohoo! It's really neat to
Telepathically.
consider how AI would interact with holidays. So, aside from just having a separate zone with the NPCs set up and having their cute little hats on their head and their specific little quests, what are some of y'all's thoughts on how the AI could interact and make holidays even more special? Chip, what do you think?
I think it's awesome. Can you just imagine this? Let's say they do a Christmas style event. I don't know what they'd call it, Frost Veil or something like that. They
Frostvale.
mentioned Frost Veil. There you go. So, there's not like a holiday everybody loves. Some people hate Thanksgiving. Some people love it. Et cetera, et cetera. So can you
think you
imagine
hate
just I don't know either. You participate in the event and you just see an AI family. He's like trudging out in the snow because he's like has to get wood, and he's like cursing the fact that first of all he has to trudge through the snow and he barely has shoes, and then he goes into his house with the wood. And can you imagine like that? What's that Mickey Mouse movie where it's like Scrooge McDuck or something like that, where Mickey Mouse and his entire family has like an entire olive to share amongst themselves? Can you imagine being able to watch that in the event? That would be pretty cool to me. You have a real life of everything going on here.
That would be really neat. I don't know if olives are in EverQuest. Are there olives? That's a good question.
Peacocks, chickens,
round table.
pigeons,
There
whatever.
is KFC in EverQuest. In EverQuest 1, they have KFC. Cunark Fried Cockatrice.
There you go. Look at
Nice.
That's true.
Madrona, how do you think they could incorporate NPCs and AI?
Oh god, it's going to be. Well, I mentioned you guys earlier about the Storybricks, the company that they're partnering with to handle all the AI in the game, is literally limitless, and we will be able to control the AI if we do get able to make our own NPCs. It's limitless. Your NPCs can do whatever they want. You can make them hate Thanksgiving. You can make them react to certain things. If they see you wearing the color red for Christmas or whatever, Frostville, they'll get mad at you. You can do anything you want. I mean, they're not lying about that. It's the AI in this game is going to be huge. It's going to be really good.
I agree. Mobius, what are your thoughts?
If it works, it would be a new revolution in MMO gaming, especially considering, especially with the AI aspect of it. And to expand a little bit on Little Chip's idea, my idea was to have like this: you got the pudgy old human with the big old white beard, and during the whole year, he's just another NPC. And then as soon as Frostville comes up, he puts on the red suit, sits down in a chair, and has kids sitting on his lap. That's something I would like to see. That would just make the whole experience that much better for me.
So pull in existing NPCs and have them interact and not just throw out new ones. That's a good idea. I like it. That's one way to do it. That would be really fun. Now, some people I'm not sure I want to see in a red suit. But
Well, you can make it green, purple, fuchsia, whatever you want.
Okay, we have color options, I see. Very good. I know Chip likes that. Well, the developers are consistently asking what they call these roundtable questions, and they pose these questions to the community to get our feedback and kind of give them directional ideas, though they might not always listen to us, which is cool. But they had a couple really recent ones that I thought were neat, especially in light of the landmark news coming out so recently. So one of the more recent roundtable questions was for EverQuest Next Landmark, which of the following styles would you be most likely to build in? And their options were fantasy, sci-fi or futuristic, real world, historical genres, pop culture, and fan fiction. Um, so what out of those groups really appeals to you? I know I'm a big fantasy buff. I'm an EverQuest. It's fantasy all the way. But Chip, what do you think?
Oh, sign me up for historical, because then this way a whole genre of being available outside the game comes into play. Because guess what? What's it called? The helicopter, like I said before on one of these casts, the helicopter was not invented in the 1900s. This was an idea postulated by Leonardo da Vinci. So if people pay attention to their history, they can have some amazing stuff that people are like, how the heck are you building this? And it's like, I read this book. Yeah! And you just, whirl around and you're just like, yeah, I look good. Figure out how to build this yourself. That's the plan.
That would be really cool. And with the tools they're giving us, that could be really feasible. So, neat. Helicopters for Chip. Got it. Vidrana, what do you think? Fantasy, sci-fi, real world, historical, pop culture?
I suck at building, not to deter from the question, but I'm terrible at it. So I would have to go with history so I can just look at a picture and just build from it. That would be the easiest for me.
Okay, that's fair. They did do a house that kind of reminded me of Tudor style, so I think that's going to be very available. Mobius, what do you think?
I don't know if I would say I was a really good builder or not. I mean, what I would like to do is I would like to try to mix and match and come up with my own unique style. Maybe mix a little fantasy in with sci-fi or historical in with pop culture just to see what you can come up with. Might come up with something neat. Might come up with something everyone's going to scratch their head like, what the heck is that? But, practice makes perfect. Experimentation is good for the soul. That's the way I look at it.
Good point. So I'm hearing we might get cowboy steampunk or something out of you. Okay.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
That would be very unique. Well, I love that they're asking this question. In the big landmark introduction, they did show outfits with the Founders Packs that are very sci-fi geared. And they're beautiful. They're extremely well done. They fit right into the world. They might not be fantasy per se, but wow, it looks good. I was really impressed. I don't know if y'all saw that, but it was really cool. Yep. What'd you think?
Well, from Reddit, people were worried that it would take away from EverQuest, but what people forget is that EverQuest is founded on D&D. It is the ultimate your world experience. So if people want to have fantasy mixed with sci-fi, that's what EverQuest is. I mean, that's what EQ Next stands for, is it's your world. So I didn't really see a problem with it. I thought it was awesome.
I thought so too. It's also interesting they're bringing in real world as something to build in. So, okay. Are we going to have Uggs? Or are we going to have Crocs? Notice I'm talking shoes, but...
Oh, God. No Crocs, please. I draw the line.
Okay, fair enough. But could we have
that.
skyscrapers? That would be really cool. I think they can go anywhere they want with this. It's really, really neat. Okay. Well, they also brought up NPC merchants as one of their roundtable questions. They asked, if a player sells an item to an NPC merchant, should other players be able to buy that item from the merchant? They had a variety of options, but in general, I like to be able to go back to a merchant and buy my stuff back if I accidentally hit the sell button. So I don't know how I feel about other players being able to take my stuff off the merchant, even though it's not my stuff anymore since I sold it. I'd kind of like a refund policy. So, I don't know. I'm a little iffy on this one. Madrona, what do you think?
I think in Landmark that you should not be able to buy other people's items. In EQ Next, that sounds like a good idea because you've got the world going, it's functioning, it's the economy is there. But in Landmark, if you're able to completely isolate yourself from other players, I think it would kind of mess with the economy a little bit if people could just buy things and then disappear into an alternate dimension and never come back. That's just my opinion on that.
That's a good thought. Chip, what do you think?
I actually like that idea. Now, it's going off of what it really means. There's this merchant who in theory makes his living by buying and selling this stuff. So let's say he goes into a town. I don't care what, a village. And people, just adventurers like you or me or whatever, decide to sell him stuff. What I want to see is him going, say I have 10 leather items or something. I go to him and say, "Here, take my thing." It's not like he can buy everything all at once. He'll probably buy one or two and say, "Dude, enough with this leather stuff. I got to make a profit. No more." So what I really like is that they can take this stuff and they can, and the player can say, "Look, ooh, that's pretty. I want it." And it works like a real merchant. That's the way it should work. I mean, one man's junk or garbage is another man's treasure. So my leather shoes can be junk for me, but then to Mobius it can be like, the perfect pair, and he'll buy it. That's what I want to see, and I think they are very capable of doing that.
I think you're right. Now, Mobius, would you really want used shoes? Really?
Depends on what kind of shoes they are.
Okay. Okay. I hope they had some Febreze, because
Yeah, no foot fungus.
that can be
Come
really
on, it's me. This is gonna be clean. I mean, this is gonna be shiny and
Okay.
new because I want to get the value.
I stand corrected. King of Style here. I'm sorry. You're right.
But as far as the whole thing goes, I kind of agree with it. I do think that the merchants should be able to, you should be able to sell stuff to a merchant, but they should have something into the AI to where if a player sells something and the merchant already has a whole bunch of that item, he's going to start paying less and less and less for it. And then, but also coming back to your point where you saying that you want to be able to buy your item back if you sell it on accident. What I think they ought to do is they ought to incorporate something that they had in EverQuest 2, where you can mark items in your inventory and make them where you cannot sell them at all, where you won't be able to sell them by accident. Where if you try to bring up a merchant window and you come to that item that's marked as no sale, you can't actually click on it and sell it. That would solve that problem with your situation earlier. And but as far as other people buying your items off of them, I think they should be able to do it. I mean, if you don't have a need for it and someone else does, and you don't want to take the time to try to sell it on the auction house where it might not sell for the price that you're getting, but you can sell it for this, sell it to the merchant to get something back for it, and then someone else comes along, they see that item, they really need it, like in EverQuest 1, people used to sell gems to the merchants all the time. And, you got I forgot what they were called, the jewel crafters or something. They made jewelry items. They can come by and purchase that stuff to make their items, and then they can turn around and sell that. I mean, that's just the way the economy works.
That is fair. Well, speaking about player economy, if you're selling it to merchants, then what does that do to the need for an auction house? I don't know if they have thought along those lines quite yet, or if that's in the game yet. I know a lot of us have gotten very comfy with our auction houses.
Yeah.
Madrona, have you heard anything about that on
Nope.
Threadicrowd? Nope, not yet.
Nope, haven't heard anything about how players will interact as far. I haven't even heard about merchants, honestly, until the roundtable came up. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay, well, fair enough. Chip, what do you think? Are auction houses so important, or do you think the economy can work through NPCs?
You need the auction house because just because this NPC thinks it's, valuable doesn't mean another person won't think it's more. You need to have a centralized area for where I can buy my stuff. Because let me tell you, early on in the game, I am like the pack rat. I will keep everything. And then later on in the game, I'm like, I don't want to go get this stuff. I want it now. And I will go to the boards and find it. And some enterprising young person will be there to sell me my stuff.